Do you believe that a simple act of kindness can change an entire life? Well, Ava's story, a seemingly ordinary waitress, proves it can. On what seemed like just another day, she did something few would dare. She stood up for Jason Statham, a Hollywood star, during a humiliating situation. The result? A decision that cost her job. But what seemed like the end was actually the beginning of an incredible, and completely unexpected, turn of events. Get ready to witness a journey full of surprises, intrigue, and emotional lessons that will keep you hooked until the very end. Ava had worked for years at Millie's Diner, a small restaurant known for the unmistakable aroma of fresh coffee and the sound of warm laughter from regular customers. She was a skilled waitress, beloved for her kindness and willingness to help. But that day, fate decided to test her in an unexpected way. Sitting in one of the restaurant's more secluded corners was Jason Statham, the famous British actor, trying to enjoy a quiet meal. However, his peace was shattered when a rude customer decided to start a nasty confrontation, throwing insults ranging from his career to his supposed lack of contributions to society. Hearing this, Ava's blood boiled. It wasn't in her nature to remain silent in the face of injustice, especially when witnessing someone being treated so disrespectfully. With firm steps, she approached the man and, without hesitation, confronted him. You know what's impressive? Not that he's sitting here, but that you think you have the right to humiliate someone who has done so much for others, she said, her voice filled with determination. The restaurant, until then filled with chatter, fell into a stunned silence. Ava knew her actions would not go unnoticed. Despite the discreet support of some customers, the restaurant management didn't share the same sentiment. Hours later, as Ava was still processing the adrenaline of the incident, she was called into the office. Her passionate defense of Jason had been deemed a breach of conduct, resulting in her dismissal. The cruel irony of the situation hit her like a cold wave. She had lost her job for doing what she believed was right. That night, Ava returned home with a heavy heart, but no regrets. She replayed the events of the day in her mind, questioning whether she should have acted differently. She knew her actions were risky, but the weight of her clean conscience seemed to outweigh the fear of the consequences. Deep down, it felt as though that moment would mark the beginning of something greater, something she couldn't yet comprehend. As she tried to compose herself emotionally, an unexpected event would light her path forward. In the distance, the phone rang, interrupting her thoughts. The name on the caller ID made Ava's eyes widen. Jason Statham, the man she had defended, wanted to talk to her. What did he have to say? Ava answered with a mix of hesitation and hope, unaware that her life was about to take an extraordinary turn. The phone call from Jason Statham brought with it a twist Ava could never have imagined. On the other end of the line, the actor's firm yet cordial voice carried genuine admiration. He thanked her for her courageous act at the diner, emphasizing how her defense had not only been an act of humanity, but also a rare display of integrity. But Jason didn't stop there. Surprising Ava, he made her an offer straight out of a movie script, a position at his charitable foundation. "People like you are exactly who we need on our side," he said with the conviction of someone who truly recognized the worth of others. Still in shock, Ava agreed to meet Jason in person the next day. The foundation's office was nothing like what she expected, a modern building adorned with photos of social projects in underprivileged communities. Jason greeted her with a smile that contrasted sharply with the tough guy image he had in the movies. He explained the foundation's mission, detailing programs in education, healthcare, and assistance for families in need. "What you did at the diner proves you have something that can't be taught. The courage to stand up for what's right," he said, as he offered her a prominent role on the team. Accepting the job was a natural decision for Ava. The opportunity seemed not only a fresh start, but also a chance to channel her passion for helping others into something meaningful. Within weeks, she became an integral part of the team, diving headfirst into the social initiatives. Her energy and empathy were contagious, and she quickly became a central figure in the foundation. Jason made no effort to hide his pride as he witnessed the positive impact Ava had on the workplace. However, as fulfilling as the work was, Ava couldn't shake off a nagging feeling that grew stronger each day. Some colleagues exhibited behaviors that didn't align with the values the foundation claimed to uphold. Suspicious comments, questionable decisions, and an air of secrecy began to hover over the organization. Ava tried to ignore it, but her intuition kept sounding the alarm. Something wasn't right. While Jason continued to place his trust in her, Ava decided to keep a closer eye on things. She didn't know exactly what she was looking for, but her experience at Millie's diner had taught her one valuable lesson. Integrity is never easy, but it's always necessary. This was just the beginning of a mystery Ava was determined to unravel, unaware that she was about to become involved in something much bigger than she could imagine. The first few months at the foundation were a mix of hope and unease for Ava. While she poured her heart into projects that changed lives, a shadow seemed to loom over the work she loved so much. Small incidents began to catch her attention: missing documents, financial figures that didn't add up, and conversations that abruptly stopped when she walked into a room. The intuition that had saved her so many times before was now screaming louder than ever. Something significant was being hidden. One morning, while reviewing financial reports, Ava noticed a glaring discrepancy. Funds earmarked for a community project in a rural area didn't match the expenses outlined in the official report. It was as if the money had vanished into thin air. Struggling to stay calm, Ava decided to dig deeper, combing through old files and searching for patterns. What she found was enough to make her heart race: suspicious transfers to unknown accounts, forged signatures, and a trail of irregularities carefully disguised. It didn't take long for Ava to realize she couldn't trust everyone around her. Colleagues who had once been friendly started behaving differently, almost as if they knew she was getting closer to the truth. The tension in the office was palpable, but Ava didn't back down. Determined to uncover what was going on, she began working in secret, documenting everything she discovered and searching for allies she could rely on. During this turbulent time, a man named Marcus entered the picture. He introduced himself as a former collaborator of the foundation, someone who knew its inner workings and had crucial information about what was really happening. His approach was direct and alarming. According to him, Jason's foundation was not what it appeared to be. Behind its charitable facade lay a web of corruption and illicit activities. To Ava, it felt like the ground beneath her feet had disappeared. Marcus's revelations shook Ava to her core, but she knew she needed more evidence before drawing conclusions. As trustworthy as Marcus seemed, a part of her mind remained cautious. Doubt began to creep into her heart. Was he telling the truth, or was he using her for some hidden agenda? The puzzle pieces were still far from coming together, and Ava knew her next decision could change everything. Ava, increasingly entangled in the mystery surrounding the foundation, decided to give Marcus the benefit of the doubt. He seemed determined to expose what he described as a corrupt scheme operated under Jason Statham's leadership. "You have no idea what really goes on here," he said with an urgency that made Ava's heart race. Yet she didn't blindly trust him. Her intuition kept her cautious even as she worked alongside Marcus, gathering evidence and connecting dots. The two began meeting in discreet locations, far from the watchful eyes of the foundation. Marcus brought documents, recordings, and accounts that painted a disturbing picture. He claimed that millions of dollars were being siphoned off to fund illicit activities, with Jason fully aware of it all. Each new piece of information seemed to confirm a horrifying truth. Ava might be working for an organization that betrayed the very values she cherished. But as the days went by, small inconsistencies began to surface in Marcus's stories. He became evasive when Ava pressed for details, and at times, his explanations didn't add up. One day, while reviewing a document Marcus had provided, Ava stumbled upon something that made her stomach churn: a signature that didn't match anything related to the foundation. It was as if Marcus had fabricated the evidence he was presenting. The weight of manipulation fell heavily on Ava's shoulders. Marcus, who had seemed like an ally, might just be another piece in a much larger game. But who was he really? And what was his goal in drawing her into this web of lies? Suspicious, Ava began seeking answers on her own, re-examining every lead and scrutinizing every detail with renewed vigilance. As the circle of intrigue tightened, Ava realized she needed to confront Jason directly. She no longer knew who was telling the truth, but she was certain that without facing him, she would never uncover the answers she sought. Armed with the evidence she had gathered, Ava braced herself for a confrontation that promised to be revealing, and possibly dangerous. Deep down, she knew she was edging closer to the truth, even if it meant uncovering a side of Jason she wished she'd never see. The meeting between Ava and Jason was charged with tension. She entered the conference room clutching a folder packed with documents, her hands sweaty from the weight of both the evidence and her doubts. Jason, seated at the head of the table, watched her with a calm expression Ava couldn't quite read. Without hesitation, she laid everything out: Marcus's allegations, the discrepancies in the reports, and the possibility that the foundation was being used for illegal purposes. The room fell silent, But Jason's eyes revealed something unexpected: sorrow. Jason didn't hesitate to respond. Firmly, he explained that Marcus was not who he claimed to be. In reality, Marcus was a former employee who had been fired for internal fraud. His obsession with bringing down the foundation stemmed from a vendetta after being exposed and dismissed. Jason presented his own evidence, documents proving the foundation's efforts to investigate and rectify the misappropriations, many of which had been orchestrated by Marcus before his termination. The pieces began to fall into place in Ava's mind, and the image of Marcus as a savior quickly crumbled. As the minutes passed, Jason revealed even more unsettling information. Not only had Marcus fabricated evidence, but he was also involved in a network of financial scams. He had re-entered the scene to destabilize the foundation and had used Ava as a pawn in his scheme. He knew you were someone everyone would trust. That's why he chose you, Jason said, his voice filled with empathy and regret. Ava felt a mix of relief and indignation. On one hand, the foundation was innocent of Marcus's accusations. On the other, she had been cruelly manipulated, placed in a position that tested her trust in herself and others. Yet Jason, far from reproaching her, acknowledged her bravery and determination in seeking the truth. You didn't make a mistake, Ava. The mistake was underestimating your character, he said, reaffirming his renewed confidence in her. Even so, the weight of the revelations lingered. Ava knew she would have to rebuild her trust and her perspective on the work she was doing. The confrontation with Jason, though painful, had clarified everyone's intentions. Yet the lingering question remained: what would Ava do with all she had uncovered? The choice she made next would be pivotal, not just for her but for the Foundation's mission. After everything she had been through, Ava found herself standing at a crossroads. The revelations about Marcus and the fight to clear the Foundation's name had left deep marks on her trust. For days she pondered her future. Should she stay at a place that had become the scene of so much doubt? Or would it be better to walk away and start anew, free from the chaos she had faced? The questions had no easy answers, but Ava knew her decision had to align with her values. Jason, sensing Ava's dilemma, offered her something few would: the freedom to choose, without judgment. He emphasized that no matter what she decided, he recognized the integrity and courage she had shown at every turn. If you stay, you'll have the chance to transform this foundation into what we've always believed it could be, he said, making it clear that he had complete trust in Ava to lead meaningful change. It was then that Ava realized the weight of the opportunity before her. Leaving the foundation would be easy, but staying meant working to repair the damage and ensuring nothing like this happened again. Her mind returned to the people who had been impacted by the foundation's work, the stories that had been transformed thanks to the team's tireless effort. There was something bigger than her fears and doubts, the mission she had helped build. Determined, Ava called a meeting with the team and shared her decision. Staying wouldn't just be an act of loyalty to Jason, but a commitment to the people who relied on the foundation. She made it clear that changes would need to be made, including greater transparency and stricter measures to prevent future failures. Her speech was met with applause not just from Jason but from many colleagues who admired her emerging leadership. In time, Ava saw her decision bear fruit. The foundation not only regained its reputation but became an example of responsibility and social impact. And despite all the hardships, Ava found a new sense of purpose, proving that even in the face of adversity, it is possible to fight for what you believe in and create something extraordinary. But deep down, she knew that this journey was only just beginning. Ava's story teaches us that courage and integrity can lead us to places we never imagined. She started as a waitress, willing to defend what was right, faced conspiracies and manipulations, but never let the challenges break her spirit. In the end, her choice to remain true to her values transformed not only her life, but the lives of everyone around her. And you? What would you do in Ava's shoes? Would you have the same courage to face the unknown for what you believe in? Share your thoughts in the comments. We want to hear your perspective on this story. If you enjoyed this emotional journey, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on other incredible stories like this. Your support is essential to keep bringing inspiring content your way.